Okay, so yeah, this training session will be recorded and made available to staff and to students. And your comments and questions, both verbal and text-based, or your likenesses, if using a webcam, may be included in the recording. Okay, so good afternoon. Thanks for coming along to this afternoon's Daily Digital Micro Webinar. My name is Chris Carter. I'm one of the digital skills developers here at Cardiff Met, and we offer digital skills training to staff and to students. So this daily digital micro webinar, these are a series of short webinars that we run on Fridays that just share some useful digital skills, hints and tips. And the main format of these particular sessions is just a quick sort of 10 to 15 minute demo, followed by a little Q&A at the end if you've got any questions. So I have disabled the microphones and cameras for the moment, but I will activate those again once I've completed the demo. So for today's particular session, we're just going to have a look at some of the options that you've got available for adjusting your animations in PowerPoint. So as you can see here, we've got a PowerPoint currently shared on screen, and you can skip, obviously within PowerPoint, you can skip between the different pages very simply. So here, this is just a straightforward switch between pages, and you can see that there's nothing really flashy going on here at all. So if I go into the actual PowerPoint program here for this particular session, we can go through, we can start to actually play around with this and add in some animations. So generally speaking, we don't tend to use a lot of animations, as animation, if not done right, can be quite distracting. But you know, PowerPoint does have some quite powerful animation tools in there. So a lot of the time, people are aware of the basic animations. So say, for example, I wanted to have this logo at the top, or this title bar. Say I wanted that to move in. I've got this set up, so I've got the text is on one object, so I've got that on one thing here. But if I click behind it, the blue bar behind is a separate object. You can see I can move that separately to the text. So what I could do, now that I've got that object selected, I can come to my ribbon across the top here. I can click on animations, and most people are kind of aware of these. So you've got some initial animations here we could use. So I could, for example, use fly in, and that will just have that shoot up a screen and appear from there. And once you've selected an animation, you can then do a little bit more with it. So you've got, depending on the animation you've selected, you'll have these effect options, which appear just to the right of the animation bar. And here, for example, on this one, I can say, right, well, instead of having that fly in from the bottom, I could have it move in from the left. So if I move that in from the left, great, that slides in that way, and that'll work well. We've also got this other option along here, which is the animation pane. And the animation pane lets us really start to play around with the animation options. So if I click on the animation pane, it pops open this window on the right-hand side. And here we can see any animations that are stored on this particular slide. So right now we've got just one animation, which is the rectangle. And it's just, if I hover my mouse over it, you can see that it tells us when I click the mouse, that animation will start and that shape will fly in, and it'll be an entrance animation. So we can change this around a little bit now. If I use this drop down, you can specify if you want the animation to start on a click, or it can start with another animation, or it can start after another animation has ended. And we've also got effect options as well. So if I click on the effect options, it lets us reconfigure this a little bit. So now, say for example, I wanted that move in to end a little bit smoother. I can use this slider and I can have it so that it glides to a kind of a quieter kind of stop rather than a harsh stop. And I can even put a small bounce on the end of that as well. But it won't let you do a smooth end with a bounce. So let's just put a smooth end on this one for now. And you can, if you want to, even add sounds to it as well. We've also got then the timing. So you can affect when you want that to start and how fast you want the animation to run. So at the moment, this is 0.5 seconds. It's very fast indeed. So if we make this back up to say, just up to say medium. So it takes 2 seconds. Then we can click OK. And that then moves that in at a slightly more sedate kind of pace. You could put your mouse over the green bar as well, which is like the representation of how long the animation takes. And you can use your tools here to manually adjust that if you wanted to. You can slide that back and forth. So let's click on a different type of animation now. So if we click on the text, for example. So we've got the text. So there's no animations on here. What we could do though is if we drop this animations bar down, you've got different types of entrance animations, or you've got different types of animations to emphasize something, and then you've got exit animations as well. And below that, you've got even more. So if I click on more entrance effects, for example, you've got different types here. And if I scroll down, you got even more again. So there's plenty of things you can do to kind of sort of give you as much animation options as possible. So if I do fade in for my one here, let's see if we can find a subtle animation. We'll do a fade in, and it gives you a little preview then. So if you ever want to see what it does, you can click on the play button up here in the animation pane, and that'll show you what the animation is going to do. So we've got that animation in here. And again, it's a different type of animation. Now we're dealing with text. So if I use the effect options, let's see what we can do. So we've got just not much in here, but that's okay. If I use the drop downs here, we can go to the effect options in this one. And because we're working with text, now we've got some different options. So you can see you've got animate the text all at once, or I could do it by word or by letter. So let's do this by letter, and we'll put a delay. We'll keep it at, let's change the delay to 15. Let's see what this does. So now you see it brings that animation in bit by bit. And if I select the first animation and click play from here, you see that comes in, and then the text appears. So let's say I wanted to have those sort of start at the same time. If I click on the text animation, you can see at the moment this starts on a click. But if I start this with previous and then click play up here, now they both appear at the same time. But what I could also do, if I click back on my text animation here, I could put a delay on here. So let's delay it by, say, 0.50, and then play again. And now you should see the rectangle will appear, and then the text will appear a little bit delayed behind that. So that's really kind of nice. You can do some nice stuff with that. We could also do other things as well. So we could, for example, this text here in this part of the page. At the moment, let me see if I can get this in place. Yeah, so I could take these different things. I think these are these grouped together? Yeah, these grouped. Okay, so at the moment, I've ungrouped these now. So these are all separate elements that can have their own animations. But what I could do is hold down the shift button and select all the different elements. Then I can right click them and I can group them together. And when they're grouped together, even though there's lots of different objects there, you can animate them all as one object. So if I was to, for example, use, let's go for a bounce, for example. So those are 4 different objects, but now have all just one animation on them. And once we've added that in, you can treat that exactly the same as you would anything else. So you can do effect options if there's any there. You can change timing. You can start with, with the previous animation. You can put a delay on it. And within here, you can even move the order of animations. So we could take this one here, and then you can use these buttons to move that animation up. So you can dictate the order that things happen. So now this page would have that bounce in first, and then the blue bar rolls across. So it's a really handy little way of managing your animations there. And if you ever wanted to delete animations or completely remove them, again, it's really simple. All you need to do is just right click or use the drop down on the animation and then you can remove it, and that will get shot of the animation completely. So now we're just back to that title bar there. Okay, so that's a bit of a very quick run through of some of the things you can do with the animation pane, how you can use it to kind of further enhance existing animations. So I'll go ahead and open up the microphones and cameras there now for anybody here. So does anybody do you have any questions or anything you'd like me to recap on that?
Hi, Chris. No, that's fine. Thanks. Wasn't expecting to be the only one, but that's really useful. I've been looking at the archive as well, and there's some good things in there that's been useful, particularly recently the quick inserts on when using Outlook and stuff like that. So yeah, that's great. Thanks ever so much.
Stuff. No worries. Thanks for coming along.
All right. Thank you.
Take care. Bye now.
Bye.